I told y'all, he ain't no Jay-Z. He just greasy.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Cancel Vacation. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a social justice, social media mob looking to cancel her in this all-new E-Steam series adventure. Get E-Steam Cancel Vacation in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, The Temptation of John Haynes. Give in to temptation and pick up this action-packed African-American paranormal romance. Get The Temptation of John Haynes in paperback and e-readers today.
Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. Rapper Jay-Z was accused of raping a 13-year-old girl in a federal civil lawsuit. Nothing to see here, just white supremacy breaking another tool.
There are more sex assault accusations connected to the case against Sean Diddy Combs. The latest involves hip-hop mogul Jay-Z, who issued a vehement denial. This morning, a blistering response from Jay-Z after he was accused of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl more than 2 decades ago. The billionaire hip-hop mogul was added to an existing civil lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs, citing an alleged incident after the 2000 VMAs, where the victim claims she was drugged and assaulted by both Diddy and Jay-Z while a third celebrity watched.
The judge has actually agreed that the victim can remain anonymous and that the case can proceed. So there seems to be a little bit more to this case.
Jay-Z vehemently denying the claim, writing, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away." Also saying, "My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence." Jay-Z also attacked the attorney behind the lawsuit, Tony Busby, who fired back saying, "I won't be bullied or intimidated." Busby is behind at least 20 of the sexual assault lawsuits against Combs, who calls Busby's lawsuits shameless publicity stunts. Combs' statement went on to say he has never sexually assaulted or trafficked anyone. Combs will stay in jail until his trial in May, but he has appealed the most recent decision to deny him bail. That ruling should come later this week.
Now, according to reports, Texas attorney Tony Busby has decided to refile a federal civil lawsuit to include the name of Sean Carter, who also goes by the name Jay-Z, to a previous filed federal civil lawsuit against Sean P. Diddy Combs. And according to these reports, what this lawsuit is alleging is that a woman who was 13 years old in the year 2000 was raped by Sean P. Diddy Combs and Jay-Z at the same time at an after party after a music award show, all while another celebrity watched this alleged event transpire in front of them. And this whole allegation has basically incensed Sean Carter, also known as Jay-Z, who has gone on record to vehemently deny these charges. And as he's vehemently denied these charges, he is now looking to allegedly go after the person who is looking to file the civil lawsuit and get their name exposed, because he believes that it's not right that any woman can go out here and file a civil lawsuit anonymously and make an allegation against a man and go out here and make that allegation without ever having to show themselves to the public and show themselves to the public as they go out here and make these claims that look to defame a celebrity and destroy their personal and professional reputation and basically tarnish their image, all because these women want to make an allegation in civil court. Now, this pushback from Jay-Z is very different from many black male and white male celebrities during the era of the Me Too movement, where we had dozens of women going out here making allegations against prominent celebrities and high-profile executives and even everyday ordinary men, and those men basically sitting there and remaining silent as these women went out here and made allegations that led to these men winding up losing their personal, professional, and personal reputations, all because these women said that something had happened many years ago. And what Jay-Z's response is a definite sign of pushback that I have not seen from any other celebrity as related to these kinds of charges, and basically shows how angry Jay-Z is regarding this whole situation, and is upset about how he is being treated as related to these charges. Now, when I take a critical look at these charges, they're seeming quite suspect to me, because here is this woman going out here and making a claim and then looking to refile this lawsuit that she already had filed against Sean P. Diddy Combs, and looking to add the name of another celebrity, adding the name of another celebrity to a already previously filed lawsuit. And basically, this is not looking like something that's being done for getting any sort of justice, but possibly could be looking like something done out of greed. And possibly could be looking to be done out of greed because she already knows that Sean P. Diddy Combs is again worth $1 billion, and also knows that Jay-Z is worth over $2 billion. And with seeing all the lawsuits that Sean P. Diddy Combs has against him, basically this woman's possibly afraid she's not going to get any sort of payday out of Diddy. So what she's thinking is, if she adds the name of Jay-Z to this civil lawsuit, possibly this may lead to this woman possibly getting a settlement as related to this civil case, because what's happened in the case of many of these women who go out here and make these kinds of allegations and file these kinds of lawsuits is, in a lot of cases, what these women want to do is go out here and look to get a settlement in outside of federal court, and hope to get that settlement and get a payday at the expense of the celebrity without ever taking any of these charges to trial. Now, what I find here to be quite suspect is that this woman waited 25 years to go out here and file this federal lawsuit, and then refile this federal civil lawsuit after this alleged crime took place. Now, in the year 2000, what I also find to be quite suspect is that a 13-year-old is going to an after party with celebrities like Jay-Z and is not supervised. And this 13-year-old girl is going to this after party. Nobody's really watching this kid. And according to her, she says that this event happened, but she doesn't go to the police. That's what I find quite suspect here. I find it quite suspect here that this whole situation is as she alleges, happened, and she didn't go to the police. Now, back in the year 2000, Jay-Z was basically not the mogul he is today. No, Jay-Z was just a rapper back then, working for a record label. So filing criminal charges against Jay-Z would have been fairly easy for that girl to do, as we had cases going on in the year 2000 with R. Kelly as related to him and the statutory grapes that they alleged that he participated in. And she would have been able to go out here and easily go out here and file some charges, because back in the 90s, those kind of charges were basically filed all the time against entertainers. And in the case of Sean P. Diddy Combs, she could have again also filed that kind of lawsuit as related to criminal charges. And I'm just wondering why she didn't go to the police at all. That's the critical question I have to ask. Why didn't this woman or her parents go out here and file that kind of criminal charge against Jay-Z and Sean P. Diddy Combs? Because if Desiree Washington back in 1990 could go out here and file grape charges against Mike Tyson, then why didn't this woman's mother at the time go out here and file that federal or criminal lawsuit? Why didn't she file a police report? That's the critical question I have to ask. I mean, why didn't you go out here and file a police report and then have them do an investigation? And the answer to that question to me is that this woman possibly didn't want to perjure herself, because the whole thing is that When you file a police report, it's an official record, and with it being an official record, you have to basically tell the truth on that report. And when it comes to a civil case, it's preponderance of the evidence. Moreover, there's fiscal compensation and not anything as related to the criminal justice system, where you have to where a person is innocent until proven guilty, and you have to prove it by a reasonable doubt. And that whole case would have a lot of reasonable doubt as related to things. But what I have no doubt about is that this child basically was being abused or pimped by their parents, very similar to what I saw with the musician R. Kelly, where a lot of mothers were basically pimping their children out, pimping their kids out so that they could go out here and make money on their kids by having any sort of contact with one of these celebrities like R. Kelly. And moreover, this was also done in the 1980s. I remember in the 1980s, many 13-year-old girls going out here and stepping to older men back then as related to the crack epidemic and as related to their hypergamy, looking to get involved with these older guys who were ranging from ages from 18 to about 30 years old. And as they got involved with these 18 to 30-year-old guys, their mothers would be out here encouraging them to have a relationship with those guys. Moreover, they'd be sitting at the lunch table bragging about these guys who were much older, as they mocked and made fun of teenage guys like myself who basically were in their age range. They would mock us and make fun of us as they were sitting at the lunch table, and after school they would be sitting there waiting for these guys who were dope boys to show up and pick them up in their Jeeps, their Jeep Cherokees, their Jeep Wranglers, their Mercedes Benz, and their BMWs, and all while wearing their shearling coats. They basically were out here looking to live a high life on the backs and the blood of their own people. And I have to wonder if this is what was happening here with this 13-year-old, where she was basically, again, being pimped out by her mother to be involved with these older men or the people in the entertainment industry, because I find that to be quite suspect as well. And I also find it to be quite suspect that all of these charges are coming out against Jay-Z after everything came out as related to all of the alleged allegations of sexual trafficking and sexual deviancy against Sean P. Diddy Combs. And I have to wonder if what's happening here is white supremacy basically has no more use for Jay-Z, who I call Greasy, a guy who basically, again, allegedly sold drugs to his own people, sold poison to his own people before becoming a rapper who talks about drug dealing and crime. And I have to wonder if white supremacy no longer has a use for this tool, this bootlick from Brooklyn, who basically, again, made money on the backs of his own people and basically abandoned his own people. And I have to wonder if this bootlick from Brooklyn is basically being broken as a tool that they no longer have any more use for, because when it comes to white supremacy, whenever they don't need a tool anymore, what happens is that they go out here and let stuff come out on the tools that they use and use that to break that tool so that they cannot be weaponized and used against them. That's what I believe is happening here to Jay-Z, who thought he was going to be able to coast into his old age after making all of these compromises with white supremacy in order to become this music mogul. He thought he would basically be able to coast into his old age, into retirement. Unfortunately, what's happening here is what Eddie Griffin told us about Hollywood and the entertainment industry, the media arm of white supremacy, that no one ever leaves clean. And what they're looking to do to Jay-Z, I believe, with this whole lawsuit is basically tarnish his reputation. And what Jay-Z is looking to do is hoping to, again, push back against the system of white supremacy. But he'll find, again, that when you try to push back against the system of white supremacy, it's just an exercise in futility, because once the institution of white supremacy again has no more use for a tool, what they do again, like Professor Black Truth has told us, is they break that tool. And what they're looking to do now with Jay-Z, who I call Greasy, is go out here and basically break this greasy rapper who basically went out here and again made a name by again pushing poison, destroying the lives of generations of black children by telling them his raps with all of this romanticism of crime and drugs and going out here and running the streets. What they're looking to do now is basically make it where he winds up basically in the same ignominious place that his contemporary Sean P. Diddy Combs is in the same place as Sean P. Diddy Combs, because when it comes to white supremacy has no regard for any of these black entertainers. No, they basically are tools that come off an assembly line, and they can manufacture more tools for each generation. And basically what's happened with Jay-Z is he's fulfilled his purpose as related to Generation X and millennials. And now that we're entering into a generation of Gen Z and Generation Alpha and Generation Beta, though they need to be able to influence those younger individuals. And since they need to influence those younger individuals, this 55-year-old man cannot be allowed to be around. And since they don't need him around to go out here leaking information, what they want to do is again neutralize his threat as a weapon by breaking that tool before it can be weaponized. And that's what's happening now. And you've got guys like Curtis 50 Cent Jackson Esquire going out here and looking to mock Jay-Z. Well, I hate to break it to you, Curtis, you might be next, because when it comes to the system of white supremacy, their ultimate goal is anti-black racism, and they'll go out here and they'll groom a couple of bootlicks and shills who compromise with white supremacy, give you a pittance as related to things, make you believe you are rich, make you believe you are wealthy, make you believe that you have influence, when in actuality you have nothing at all, and basically are setting you up to be the punchline of a cruel joke that happens when they basically yank the rug out from under you. And after they yank the rug out from under you, you basically wind up in the same ignominious fashion as many other black men who have come before you. It's no different than what happens in the chapter of Ralph Ellifson's classic novel, Invisible Man, where you have all these educated guys, black guys, going out here looking to get some coins on a rug that was electrified, and not realizing that the whole game was completely rigged. And in the sad case of bootlicks like Jay-Z, they don't understand that the game was rigged from minute one. They'll let you have a little bit of change for now, but the whole thing is that nothing has changed as related to the game white supremacy is playing, a game where they want to go out here and demonize the image of a black man, which is what they've been doing ever since the days of Jim Crow and have been doing for years. And the same game that was done to Bill Cosby, again, this was one of the most educated and respected black men. What was done to Bill Cosby is currently being done to Jay-Z right now, and it was all part of a campaign to destroy the legacies of prominent black men. That's what this whole campaign is about projecting the narrative of the black brute onto prominent black celebrities, making them into the face of sexual predation. That's what's being done here by white supremacy, and being done by many of these women who again make these allegations 25 years later, where there's no evidence really that can be challenged in criminal court. So you go out here and again make the allegation and know that the man can't fight back because there's no evidence in criminal court. So what they do is use the court of public opinion to go out here and sway people as related to a civil case where basically there is no real evidence at all, because this whole allegation against Jay-Z is another case of similar to what the Me Too movement was doing, where white women were saying that something happened because they're white and they say so. And because they're white and they say so, they would use this to go out here and lynch these black men in the court of public opinion, like Bill Cosby, and destroy their reputations. And the same thing is being done here to Jay-Z, who basically is having an allegation made against him for something that I don't really believe happened based on the way this woman refiled this case, because you don't refile a case in civil court if a crime like this happens. No, you go out here, and if a crime happened in the year 2000, you file a criminal case. You file a criminal case to get this person prosecuted so that they won't prey on another individual. But this isn't about looking to then get justice in the criminal courts. This is all about getting a payday at the expense of a celebrity that I think may possibly be looking to do something about this by pushing back, because this type of lawsuit, as I see it, really needs to stop. I mean, if you go out here and file a lawsuit against an individual, they have a right to a day in court according to our Constitution, and they have a right to a day in court to know the name of that defendant so that they know who they're defending themselves against. That's one issue I have with this whole Jane Doe approach that has been pushed by legislation like here in New York, like the Adult Survivors Act. A person has a right to defend themselves in court. That's why I say that whole Adult Survivors Act is unconstitutional, because according to our amendments as related to due process of law, a man has a right to defend himself as related to allegations of crimes like this in a criminal court, and they have a right to have their day in court and see their defendant, because if you're going to make a serious charge against an individual, it shouldn't just be for fiduciary compensation. No, it should be where we go out here and look to challenge this law as related to, again, their tangible freedom, because, again, if this person is participating in these kind of crimes, then they need to be in jail so that they cannot harm another person. But it doesn't seem like there's anybody looking for anything here as related to protecting society. No, what this opportunist Tony Busby, as I see, is looking for is looking to get a payday at the expense of another black celebrity. Because I remember when he filed a lawsuit against the Houston Texans quarterback, that whole case wound up falling completely apart, because what these guys are looking for and what their clients are looking for is a civil settlement. What they're looking for are civil settlements as related to these allegations, and hoping to get a payday for their client, because the attorney gets a lot of those money in fees. So this is just one big cash grab as I see it. And again, I am no fan of Jay-Z. I basically see him as greasy, and possibly him reaping what he sowed, later than what he sowed, greater than what he sowed, to all the people he did dirty. But two wrongs don't make a right, and it isn't right to me as related to this woman refiling this case. Again, this refiling, any judge would see as quite suspect. You refiling, you said, okay, P. Diddy Combs did something to you. Now you're adding another name in. This basically destroys the credibility of a case, as for me, as related to the preponderance of the evidence in civil court. Moreover, the fact that you haven't filed a criminal case makes it even more suspect. So I look at this whole case against Jay-Z, and yes, I do see him as greasy, but I look at this whole allegation as another case of another person who's a part of this whole continuing Me Too movement, which basically has alienated the relations between men and women, because you have women out here who basically look to revise history as related to events that they participated in, and turning to try to make it into a alleged crime, to make it into a payday, instead of going out here and owning up to the fact that you guys went out here and were at these parties with these celebrities. And again, this 13-year-old, as I see it, should have never been at this party. No minor should be at a party with celebrities. I mean, to me, that's child abuse, because these after parties, again, are notorious for all type of stuff going on. And I would never have my kids, if I had kids, be at this kind of party. No, they'd be at home, sitting in bed, sleeping, or whatever. They would be at home, because my children would not be a part of that mess. And again, I look at this whole case from the panoramic perspective. And again, while I see it as, again, white supremacy basically breaking another tool, I don't really see this as a case again of this being an allegation that I could find to be factual, because when I listened to the evidence as related to this case, again, somebody waiting 25 years to file a charge, and again, on a refile case, this all seems to be quite suspect, and really it shows me how we need to do something about our legal system, because people should not be allowed to go out here and just file lawsuits based on allegations from over 20 years ago. Again, this is what our Constitution was supposed to protect us as related to the statute of limitations. There should be a statute of limitations that, again, limit people from going out here and filing lawsuits just randomly against people without any sort of proof. I mean, this is what I call something that, again, goes too far, and again, is basically one of the reasons why many men want nothing to do with women as related to relationships these days, because many men fear they will get sued over just a trivial matter. And this whole case against Jay-Z, sadly, again, is one case where, again, I'm looking at the evidence, and it's not looking like something that really is where all the evidence is fitting. It's looking to me like somebody, again, is looking for a payday where they're looking to, again, since they believe they can't get the money from Diddy, they're hoping to get the money from Jay-Z, and don't see that if by messing with Greasy, you may be making a big mistake, because he's looking to fight back hard, and if he is just as treacherous as some say, this, again, may not be a smart decision as related to this whole case. And again, not a smart decision, because again, people look at the way this lawyer has again gone after other black men and see a pattern with this whole attempts to file these cases, and again, looks like again attempts to again destroy black men's wealth, destroy black men's legacies, and black men's reputations overall. Now, if you want to learn how to identify female predators so that you won't wind up getting jammed up in a situation like Jay-Z and Sean P. Diddy Combs, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping: Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, on Amazon.com to learn how to identify these kinds of female predators who look to, again, revise history and learn how to avoid them overall. And you can pick up that book by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to learn what motivates women to participate in these types of cases, because I have a whole chapter about the Me Too movement in my book, The Woman Crisis, you can find that book on Amazon.com along with Stop Simping, and you can find many of my other men's issues books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos taking celebrities to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Illuminati, a man who rules the world, takes on the head of the global elite in this all-new action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' Illuminati in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Dark Incubus. The goddess next door gets enthralled in a romantic entanglement with an evil incubus in this all-new Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Dark Incubus in paperback and e-readers today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.